The final warning ambassador, Elena Vasquez, adjusted her diplomatic uniform as she walked through the gleaming corridors of the Nexus Council station. The massive space structure orbited the neutral world of Kepler 4b, serving as the galaxy's center for interspecies negotiations. Today would mark either the beginning of peace or the end of humanity's patient restraint. The Vorthan Collective had been testing human resolve for 18 months now. What started as trade disputes had escalated into systematic attacks on Earth's outer colonies. 3 mining worlds had been blockaded, 2 research stations destroyed, and over 5,000 human civilians killed in what the Vorthans called resource liberation operations. Elena had spent her entire career as Earth's primary diplomatic representative, successfully negotiating treaties with 17 different species. She believed in the power of words, in finding common ground between civilizations. But the Vorthans had pushed humanity to a breaking point that even she recognized. The council chamber doors opened with a soft hiss, revealing the semicircular assembly where representatives from 43 species sat in their specialized atmospheric pods. The chamber's artificial gravity and universal atmosphere allowed different forms of life to coexist in one space. Though tensions today made the air feel heavy despite the environmental controls. High Regent 6-star of the Vorthon Collective dominated the center podium with his towering presence. Standing nearly 3 meters tall, his crystalline exoskeleton reflected the chamber's lights in sharp, angular patterns. His species had evolved on a high-gravity world where only the strongest survived, and they brought that philosophy to their interactions with other civilizations. Elena took her position at the human delegation podium and activated the universal translator. Her words would be heard simultaneously in 43 different languages, but she knew the meaning would be clear in any tongue. Honored representatives, Elena began, her voice steady despite the weight of what she carried. For 18 months, the United Earth Federation has attempted to resolve our differences with the Vorthan Collective through peaceful negotiation. We have offered trade, concessions, territorial agreements, and cultural exchange programs. 6-star's mandibles clicked together in what humans had learned was equivalent to laughter. Ambassador Vasquez speaks of peace while her species spreads like a plague across the galaxy. Humans consume resources without regard for established territorial rights. You expand into systems that rightfully belong to superior civilizations. The Altarian representative's tentacles writhed nervously in her containment pod. The collective has destroyed civilian installations. These actions violate the Galactic Accords on the protection of non-inferior species, forfeit protection when they refuse to acknowledge their place in the natural order. 6-star replied without hesitation. Humans possess crude technology and primitive military capabilities. They should be grateful that the collective offers them the opportunity to serve rather than face complete annihilation. Elena felt her diplomatic training warring with her growing anger. The Vorthans had studied human technology for decades, analyzing captured ships and weapons. Their intelligence reports consistently concluded that Earth's military posed no serious threat to their crystalline warships and energy-based weapons. Systems. Admiral Marcus Chen watched the proceedings from Earth's secret command center buried 3 kilometers beneath the Sahara Desert. The facility had been hidden from galactic sensors for over 30 years, serving as the coordination hub for humanity's most classified military project. Chen commanded the Shadow Fleet, a collection of vessels that officially didn't exist, while the galaxy knew about Earth's public navy with its conventional fusion drives and projectile weapons. They had no knowledge of the ships that operated using principles most species considered theoretically impossible. Dr. Sarah Kim, the project's chief scientist, stood beside Chen as they monitored the diplomatic feed. "Admiral, the Nexus Council session is reaching its conclusion. Ambassador Vasquez is about to deliver our final warning." Chen nodded grimly. 37 years we've been developing these technologies in secret. 37 years of letting other species believe we're just another primitive civilization. I almost hoped it would never come to this. The development of the Shadow Fleet had begun shortly after first contact with the galactic community. Humanity discovered they were considered one of the weakest species in known space, suitable only for manual labor and resource extraction. Rather than reveal their true capabilities immediately, Earth's leadership made a strategic decision to develop their technology in secret, while maintaining the appearance of a limited military capacity. Back in the council chamber, Alina was delivering humanity's final diplomatic message. "The Vorthon Collective has repeatedly rejected our peaceful overtures. You have blockaded our colonies, destroyed our civilian infrastructure, and killed thousands of innocent people. We have shown restraint in the hope that wisdom would prevail over aggression." Six-Star's crystalline form shifted as he prepared to respond, his internal luminescence growing brighter with excitement. "Human restraint is merely evidence of your species' weakness. Your pathetic fleet consists of metal containers propelled by chemical explosions. Your weapons cannot penetrate our energy shields. Your entire civilization could be conquered by a single collective battle group." The chamber fell silent as Alina's expression hardened. She had spent months preparing for this moment, knowing that her next words would either prevent a war or justify humanity's response to Vorthon aggression. "Hi, Regent Six-Star. You have made assumptions about human capabilities based on incomplete information. For decades, we have chosen to present only a fraction of our true military potential to the galactic community. We believed that showing restraint would encourage peaceful coexistence." Alina paused, allowing the universal translators to catch up. "That restraint has been mistaken for weakness. The destruction of our civilian populations has forced us to reconsider our approach to interspecies relations." The Altarian representative's translator crackled with concern. "Ambassador Vasquez, what are you saying exactly?" Elena's voice carried the weight of humanity's patience, finally exhausted. "I am saying that Earth has been holding back. We have technologies that we chose not to reveal because we hoped they would never be necessary. The Vorthon Collective's actions have made it clear that hope was misplaced." Six-Star's mandibles spread wide in what humans recognized as extreme amusement. "Impossible. Our intelligence networks have monitored human technological development for 40 years. We have captured and analyzed your ships, your weapons, your communication systems. There are no hidden capabilities." Chen smiled grimly from his command center as he listened to the Vorthon leader's confident dismissal. The Shadow Fleet had been specifically designed to operate outside the detection parameters of known galactic sensor technology. Their ships existed in dimensional phases that alien science considered purely theoretical. Alina continued her warning with diplomatic precision. "This is humanity's final peaceful communication to the Vorthon Collective. Cease all hostile actions against Earth's colonies immediately. Withdraw your forces from human space within 72 hours. Provide reparations for the civilian casualties you have caused." The chamber erupted with clicks, chirps, and electromagnetic pulses as different species reacted to Elena's ultimatum. Several representatives had never heard such direct language from the typically diplomatic humans, 6-star S. Internal light pulsed with what humans had learned indicated extreme anger. Your species presumes to issue ultimatums to the collective. We control 17 star systems and command a fleet of over 300 warships. Your entire civilization possesses fewer than 50 military vessels, all of them inferior to our technology. Elena's response was delivered with the calm certainty of someone who knew exactly what would happen next. High Regent, you have been warned. If you choose to continue your aggressive actions against humanity, you will face the full consequences of that decision. We have been patient. We have been merciful. We have been restraining our true capabilities in the hope that reason would prevail. The human ambassador gathered her materials and prepared to leave the podium. That hope is now exhausted. The Vorthan Collective has 72 hours to comply with our demands. After that time expires, you will discover what humanity is truly capable of when we stop holding back. 6-star S crystalline form blazed with internal fire as he responded. Your threats are meaningless, human. The collective will not be intimidated by an inferior species. We will continue our operations against your colonies and expand them to include your homeworld itself. Alina turned back to face the Vorthan. Leader, one final time. Then you have made your choice, High Regent, and now we will make ours. The communication channel between the Nexus Council and Earth Command crackled to life as Alina transmitted a single coded message. Diplomatic solution. Impossible. Authorization requested for Project Shadowfall. Chen received the message and looked around the command center where hundreds of human officers and scientists had spent decades preparing for this moment. All stations, this is Admiral Chen. Ambassador Vasquez has delivered our final warning. The Vorthan Collective has rejected all peaceful solutions. Dr. Kim activated the quantum communication array that connected Earth Command to 37 hidden bases throughout human space. Each facility housed Shadow Fleet vessels that had been waiting in dimensional phase for over a decade. Admiral, Dr. Kim reported, all Shadow Fleet commanders are standing by for orders. Phase drives are charged and ready. Quantum weapon systems are armed and operational. Chen opened the sealed authorization that only the President of Earth and the Admiral of the Shadow Fleet were permitted to access. Inside was a single line of text that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Operation Shadowfall is authorized. Show them what we've been hiding. Captain Sarah Mitchell received the authorization aboard her ship. The ESV Phantom, hidden in the shadow dimension just outside the Proxima Centauri system. Her vessel was equipped with technology that most galactic civilizations would consider impossible even if they could detect it. Attention Shadow Fleet, Mitchell broadcast on the encrypted quantum channel. This is Captain Mitchell. Operation Shadowfall is now active. All units proceed to designated targets. Let's show the galaxy what happens when humanity stops being nice. The 72-hour deadline began counting down across human space. In dimensional phases invisible to galactic sensors, the Shadow Fleet prepared to emerge and demonstrate why Earth had chosen to hide its true military capabilities for so long. Alina Vasquez departed the Nexus Council knowing she had done everything possible to prevent what was about to happen. The Vorthan Collective had been warned. They had chosen aggression over negotiation, violence over peace. Now they would learn the true meaning of human determination when pushed beyond the breaking point. The reckoning exactly 72 hours after Alina Vasquez delivered humanity's final warning. The galaxy discovered what Earth had been hiding. For nearly 4 decades, General Rebecca Torres stood in the command center of the ESV Retribution. The Shadow Fleet's flagship, as it phased into normal space-time above the Vorthan military stronghold of Kepler 186f. Around her, displays showed 36 other Shadow Fleet vessels materializing simultaneously across 7 star systems, each one appearing exactly where Vorthan forces least expected them. The Retribution existed using principles that violated what most galactic civilizations understood about physics. Its hull was composed of metamaterials that could shift between dimensional phases, allowing the ship to move through folded spacetime while remaining completely invisible to conventional sensors. The technology had been developed in secret by humanity's best scientists, working in underground facilities that the galaxy never suspected existed. Torres activated the fleet-wide communication system. All Shadow Fleet vessels, this is General Torres. Operation Shadowfall is now active. Engage all Vorthan military targets with extreme prejudice. Show no mercy to those who showed none to our civilians. Commander Zolthek of the Vorthan battle. Cruiser Dominion watched his tactical displays in confusion, as anomalous energy readings appeared throughout his fleet's formation. His ship was part of a 50-vessel task force preparing to attack the human colony on Ross 128b, continuing the collective's campaign of intimidation. Combat sensors detect massive gravitational distortions, reported his tactical officer. Energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. Source unknown. Zelthek's crystalline form pulsed with irritation. Impossible. Our long range scanners show no human vessels within 3 light-years of this position. Their primitive ships cannot approach without detection. The ESV Phantom materialized directly behind the Vorthan formation, its phase drive allowing it to emerge from dimensional space with perfect tactical positioning. Captain Sarah Mitchell smiled as she watched the alien ships scramble to respond to her ship's sudden appearance. Target their command vessel, Mitchell ordered her weapons officer. Dr. Park's quantum disruptors should make quite an impression. Dr. James Park had spent 15 years developing weapons that operated on subatomic principles, most species considered theoretical. His quantum disruptors created localized space-time collapse effects that could tear matter apart at the molecular level, while his phase cannons fired projectiles that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Phantom's first shot struck the Dominion's shields and passed through them as if they didn't exist. The quantum disruptor beam contacted the alien ship's crystalline hull and began unraveling the molecular bonds that held it together. Within seconds, the massive Vorthon cruiser simply disintegrated into its component atoms. Commander Zolthek's final transmission was cut short as his ship ceased to exist on any measurable level. The remaining Vorthan vessels tried to return fire, but their energy weapons couldn't lock onto targets that flickered in and out of normal spacetime. Throughout the galaxy, similar scenes played out as the Shadow Fleet revealed humanity's true military capabilities. The ESV Thunder emerged from dimensional phase inside the Vorthan shipyards above Tau Ceti E, appearing directly within the construction facilities where the collective built their largest warships. Lieutenant Commander Alex Rivera commanded the Thunder's tactical systems as they deployed reality bombs throughout the shipyard complex. The weapons created micro-singularities that collapsed sections of space-time, pulling entire construction bays and half-finished ships into gravitational wells no larger than marbles. 17 Vorthan battleships under construction, Rivera reported to General Torres. All targets neutralized. The shipyards are gone, ma'am. just ... gone. Emperor Zolthek sat in his palace on the Vorthan homeworld, watching tactical displays that showed the systematic destruction of his empire's military forces. Reports flooded in from across collective space as human ships appeared without warning and annihilated entire fleets using weapons that shouldn't exist. How is this possible? The Emperor demanded of his chief scientist. Our intelligence showed that humans possessed only primitive fusion drives and kinetic weapons. Where did this technology come from? Dr. Vexter's analysis centers had been working frantically to understand the human weapons, but their readings made no sense according to established physics. Your Majesty, their ships appear to phase in and out of normal space-time. Their weapons operate on quantum principles that our science considers impossible. We have no defense against technology we cannot understand. The Emperor's internal luminescence flared with rage and fear. Mobilize every ship in the collective. Draw forces from all 17 systems. If humanity possesses such advanced weapons, they must be destroyed before they can use them against other species. General Torres received intelligence reports showing Vorthan forces massing for a desperate counterattack. Rather than retreat, the collective was committing every available vessel to what they called a holy war against the human threat. Admiral Chen Torres reported to Earth Command. The Vorthans are gathering their entire military for a final assault on our colonies. Intelligence suggests over 400 ships converging on the Sol system. Chen smiled grimly from his command bunker. Perfect. Let them come to us. Dr. Kim, activate the dimensional minefield around Earth. It's time to show the galaxy our ultimate defensive capability. Dr. Sarah Kim had developed the minefield over 20 years, placing quantum devices throughout the Sol system that could manipulate space-time itself. The mines existed in folded dimensions, invisible to all known forms of detection, waiting for the moment when Earth needed ultimate protection. The Vorthan Armada emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system with 430 warships, the largest military force ever assembled by their civilization. Emperor Zolthek himself commanded the fleet from his flagship, determined to eliminate the human threat before it could spread. All vessels, maintain formation, the Emperor ordered. Focus fire on the human homeworld. Eliminate their ability to produce more of these phantom ships. The collective fleet advanced toward Earth with weapons charged and shields raised, expecting to face the handful of human vessels that their intelligence suggested comprised humanity's entire navy. Instead, they encountered empty space filled with invisible minds that began rewriting the fundamental laws of physics in localized areas. The first Vorthan ship to enter the minefield simply vanished as the space around it collapsed into a dimension that no longer connected to normal reality. The second vessel was stretched across several light years as gravitational effects pulled it in contradictory directions simultaneously. Emperor Zelfek watched in horror as his armada encountered forces that his science couldn't explain or counter. Ships disappeared, imploded, exploded into multiple dimensions, or simply stopped existing in ways that could be measured. All vessels retreat, the Emperor ordered desperately. Fall back to minimum safe distance. General Torres appeared on the Emperor's communication screen. Her image transmitted from the Retribution as it materialized alongside the Vorthan flagship. The human ship was sleek and deadly, its hull seeming to shimmer between dimensions as it held position. Emperor Zolthek, Torres said calmly, your fleet has entered Sol system in direct violation of our 72-hour warning. You have chosen to continue your aggressive actions against humanity despite being given every opportunity for peaceful resolution. The Emperor's crystalline form blazed with desperate fury. Your species has deceived the entire galaxy. You possess technology that violates the natural order. Such power should not exist in the hands of inferior beings. Torres's expression remained professionally cold. Your Majesty, you have spent 18 months calling humanity inferior while systematically murdering our civilians. You dismissed our diplomatic warnings because you believed we were too weak to resist your aggression. That was your first mistake. The Retribution's weapon systems powered up with a sound that seemed to resonate through multiple dimensions. Simultaneously, your second mistake was refusing to stop when we asked nicely. Throughout the Sol system, the remaining Shadow Fleet vessels emerged from dimensional phase, surrounding the crippled Vorthan armada with overwhelming firepower. The aliens found themselves trapped in a gravity well they couldn't escape, facing weapons they couldn't understand or counter. "This is impossible," Emperor Zolthek whispered. "How long have you been hiding this technology?" Torres allowed herself a small smile. "Since the day we made first contact with the galactic community, we learned very quickly that showing our true capabilities would make other species nervous. So we chose to appear harmless while developing defenses that would protect us if diplomacy failed." News of the Vorthan fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy faster than hyperspace. Communication networks could carry it. Species that had dismissed humanity as a minor power suddenly realized they had completely misjudged Earth's technological capabilities. The Altarian Confederation called an emergency session of their High Council to discuss the implications of human military superiority. The Crystalline Collective recalled all their ships from human border regions and issued formal apologies for previous territorial disputes. Even the Ancient Watchers emerged from centuries of isolation to analyze what they called the most significant shift in galactic power balance since the formation of the Council Ambassador. Elena Vasquez addressed the reformed Nexus Council 3. Days after Operation Shadowfall concluded, the chamber was notably empty, as several species had withdrawn their representatives rather than face humanity's revealed strength. "Honored delegates," Elena began, her voice carrying new authority. That hadn't existed before the demonstration of Earth's true capabilities. Humanity regrets that military action became necessary to protect our citizens and colonies. We would have preferred to resolve our differences through continued negotiation. The surviving Vorthan representative, a junior diplomat named Kexelin, spoke with obvious fear. "Ambassador Vasquez, the collective formally surrenders all territorial claims in human space. We request mercy for our surviving civilian populations." Elena's response reflected humanity's complicated relationship with power and justice. The United Earth Federation has no interest in conquest or empire. We seek only the right to exist peacefully among the civilizations of the galaxy. Vorthan civilians will not be harmed, but your military forces will remain confined to your original territory. Dr. Kim transmitted her final report on Operation Shadowfall to the Earth Council, documenting the complete success of humanity's reveal. The demonstration achieved all strategic objectives. Vorthan military capability has been eliminated as a threat. Other species now understand that Earth possesses advanced defensive technologies. Admiral Chen received communications from dozens of alien governments requesting formal treaties and non-aggression pacts with humanity. The galaxy's perception of Earth had changed overnight from a minor power to one of the most technologically advanced civilizations in known space. General Torres, Chen addressed his fleet commander, begin Phase 2 operations. It's time to help other species understand the new rules for galactic civilization. The Shadow Fleet began patrolling trade routes that had been plagued by piracy. For decades, their mere presence ending criminal activity that conventional forces had been unable to stop. Human vessels appeared wherever aggressive species threatened weaker civilizations, establishing Earth as the galaxy's unofficial peacekeeping force. Elena Vasquez concluded her address to the Nexus Council with words that would define humanity's role in galactic affairs for generations to come. Earth warned the Vorthon Collective that we were holding back our true capabilities. They chose to ignore that warning and continue their aggression against our people. The ambassador's voice carried the quiet confidence of a species that had proven their strength while maintaining their principles. Let this serve as notice to all civilizations. Humanity seeks peace and cooperation, with all species willing to coexist respectfully. But we will no longer tolerate aggression against our citizens or colonies. Elena paused, looking around the chamber at the representatives of dozens of species who now viewed humanity with a mixture of respect and fear. We have been patient. We have been diplomatic. We have shown restraint even when attacked. Those days of restraint are over. The galaxy had learned a fundamental truth about humanity that would reshape interspecies relations forever. Earth's greatest strength had never been their weapons or their technology. It was their willingness to show mercy to those who had shown them none, and their restraint in using power they had possessed all along. But when that mercy was rejected and that restraint was mistaken for weakness, humanity had proven they could strike without limits and without mercy. The Vorthon Collective had ignored Earth's warning, and the galaxy would never forget the consequences of that choice. Asterisk.